month before The Rise of Skywalker came out, I could not focus on anything else. Every day in school, I would be motivated by the fact that a new Star Wars movie was coming out soon. I would count down the days, I would watch the trailer daily. The night before, I could barely sleep. The day of in school, I told my friends that it was going to be the best day of my life. 20 minutes before The Mandalorian and Grogu, I could not give less of a shit. Star Wars is finally back in theaters, guys. Oh boy, am I so glad that we're getting Star Wars movies again. Okay, let's cut the shit. The Mandalorian and Grogu is terrible. And of course it is. Have you seen the show? The Mandalorian Season 3 is such utter garbage. It does everything wrong. It is one of the most offensively bad seasons of TV I've ever seen, and it is easily the worst season of Star Wars television. I set my expectations accordingly, and is this as bad as Season 3? No, not quite. Is it the worst Star Wars movie? No, that's still Rise of Skywalker. Is it the second worst Star Wars movie? Yeah. The absolute ego and narcissism you have to think that the way to bring Star Wars back to theaters is to include random glub shittos from a cartoon you made 18 years ago is actually disgusting. I thought this movie would at least be an important arc in The Mandalorian, if not the finale, at least an important chapter. No, this movie is actually hinging on the popularity of Zeb and Embo to do well at the box office. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I saw this movie with 11 people. You're welcome for the marketing, by the way, Disney. I think maybe 3 of us knew who Zeb was. I have had fucking enough of the Clone Wars. Why is everything in this franchise the Clone Wars? Please stop giving us Clone Wars. I actually can't do this anymore. The Clone Wars fan service isn't even good. Embo does nothing. He doesn't even aura farm with his hat. If the single appeal of this movie is glub shittos, at least do me the courtesy and have some deep cuts in there. Give me Jar Jar. The only cameo that wasn't marketed is Dave Filoni and his stupid fucking cowboy hat. I want to burn that cowboy hat almost as much as I want to punt Grogu into space and watch a life leave his eyes. I'm getting ahead of myself. I hate Zeb. He's easily the worst character in Rebels besides Sabine, and he does nothing in this movie. Why is Zeb in this movie? The fact that Zeb is in a movie feels wrong. It feels like something went wrong in this timeline. We gave too much power to Dave Filoni. Rada is also in this movie because for some reason, this is a legacy sequel to the Clone Wars movie. The absolute galls and audacity to make the first Star Wars movie in 7 years a sequel to the Clone Wars movie. Also, Rada is the best part of this movie. I don't know, man. His existence is so funny to me. His dialogue is played so straight, but coming out of his mouth, it's kinda peak comedy. The fact that Emmy winner Jeremy Allen White just uses his regular voice for him is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Please bring Rada back. I kind of love him now. And it is kinda cool from a lore perspective, seeing Hutts move around a bunch and fight and shit. I'm pretty sure they also showed 2 Hutts fucking. That was insane. Also, Rada's low-key racist to Din at the end, and he calls him one of the good ones. This movie is very unintentionally funny. You know when I busted out laughing? Seeing Martin Scorsese's name in the credits. He was kinda good, honestly. He had more character than Mando. Sigourney Weaver's also here. What an absolute waste. Like, it should be illegal to do nothing with Sigourney Weaver. Okay, what else made me laugh? At one point an explosion happens, and I shit you not, they do that thing from one of the Transformers movies where the aspect ratio changes for a single shot. My friends pointed out after the movie how the New Republic Loki just committed terrorism at the end, and they're right. This movie ends with a triumphant 9/11. Beautiful. They let a bunch of monsters out at one point, and they start murdering the public. Then they just leave. Din, you got so many people killed, buddy. So the twins want to kill Rada in this movie because he's heir to Jabba's throne. Except in the Boba Fett show, he takes over after killing Bib Fortuna. So isn't he the one you should kill? It doesn't seem like an heir system. It feels like you could just walk in and kill whoever's in charge. Am I missing something? Like, genuinely, am I the stupid one here? The Inzelans made me laugh, and to the film's credit, that was the only intentional bits of humor that worked on me. Good on you. You know who never made me laugh? Grogu. I hate this stupid green baby so much. I hate everything he represents. The moment they brought him back, he stopped being a character, and it is so obnoxious. I love that they never marketed him in the first season. He had a role in the story. Now he just sells toys. and I'm so tired of him. He's not funny anymore. I feel nothing when he does something cute. I want him dead. I want to see Grogu die a long, painful death. They also just can't decide what to do with this character. Or not that they can't decide, but they want to have their cake and eat it too. Sorry, he can't be a baby and also be capable of this shit. He can't be riding a super stroller in heavy action territory, avoiding gunfire and like knows where to go. He's a fucking action hero, he can follow orders, and the next scene he's like, oh, which button do I press? I'm a stupid, dumb little baby. You can't have both. Either age him up a bit, make him basically Omega from the Bad Batch, you know, still a kid, but like talks, is like actually like a fucking person to communicate with who can help out on missions, or he's a dumb fucking baby. And I don't like them being a dumb fucking baby because, you know, it's like that's already like played out, you know, he's just here to sell toys like I said. But at least choose a lane, okay? You can't have both. And on that note, also, they call Rod a kid in this movie, and he's at least 31. And I know Hutt's aged differently, but he looks pretty mature even by their standards, so I'm just kind of confusing. And he somehow has more character than Din. My apologies to Jyn Erso, you are no longer the worst main character in a Star Wars movie. Din is the blandest character of all time here. He has no character arc, he has no personality, he's not funny, he's not cool, he doesn't go through a compelling conflict, he is so fucking boring, man. The only stakes this movie has is whether Din will die or not. And that doesn't really work when I don't care whether Din dies or not. I don't care about him. Why should I? Give me a reason to care. Another fun aspect of this movie is that it's not really a movie. At one point I looked down at my Andor shirt and just reminisced. You guys remember Andor? That was some good shit. That was more of a movie than this. Absolutely brilliant structure here. So you may have heard this movie is just 3 episodes of The Mandalorian. Now, that's not exactly true. The first hour, that's 1 episode. That's 1 concise, extended episode. It's not very good, but it's also the clear better part of this movie. The next, like, 30 minutes, that's 1 episode. Then you get a whole episode about Grogu, and that episode sucks, like, even more than usual. And then you get another episode in the last, like, 20 minutes, except those 20 minutes somehow last, like, 45. It's about 4 episodes, except 3 of them are all rushed into 1 hour. 1 long, excruciating hour. There were multiple times when I was left jaw-dropped at the fact that the movie was still going on. The movie also looks like shit. Now Hutta looks pretty good, I'll give it that, but the rest of the movie is filled with terrible lighting, the blandest sets imaginable, and awkward CGI. The New Republic base is actually embarrassing. The opening scene looked so damn bad. The lighting from the window, just Jesus Christ. You know, Jon Favreau went on record bragging about how this was the first Star Wars movie shot in LA. And you know the reason the original trilogy looks so good? It's because they went to places. It's because they filmed in practical locations. They had to find the sets. This is not something to brag about. I wouldn't say Zeb and Rada look that bad, but they look kind of rough in a lot of scenes. The monsters look good at least, which is good because there's so many fucking monsters. Like, I like monsters. The monster fights in this movie are the better scenes. But when there's so many of them, it's tiring. They save the mess monster for last, but by that point, it's just numbing. It's white noise. And then after they defeat him, we still have to fight more droids. It's too much. It's just too much. I did like the monster designs in the arena, and then my friend pointed out that they're the monsters from the game on the Falcon. Of course they are. Silly me. Why'd I assume the movie did anything original? I'm just surprised they didn't reuse Reek next to an Acolyte, to be honest. I would have cheered if that happened, because I know Star Wars! I won't shit on the score. It's no Sinners or Oppenheimer, but Ludwig is good at what he does. I will say that when we're hearing music that sounds really dramatic and moving, but the visuals are shit and the characters aren't compelling, it just makes for a funny combo. Oh, and the dialogue? Holy shit, the dialogue. Everyone speaks like video game NPCs, or they say weird exposition, or they say a line that's somehow really awkward and super predictable at the same time. I could guess half the shit they say in this movie, and I could not believe the other half made out of the cutting room floor. This is far and above the worst dialogue I've seen in Star Wars, and I mean that. I truly, deeply mean that. So people are defending this movie because I guess it's okay for a movie to be just fun. Now, first of all, I'd like Star Wars' grand return to the big screen to be something a little consequential. If this came out in between episodic movies, that's one thing, but it's supposed to be the big new Star Wars blockbuster, and if you're gonna do a Mandalorian movie, I expect it to at least be a footnote in the larger story of these characters. I doubt Season 4 will even mention any of this. But second, I'm okay with a fun movie. Solo is one of my favorite Star Wars movies because it's pure Star Wars fun. I think I'm genuinely the #1 fan of that movie. You know what that movie also has? Good acting, a good story, compelling characters, and stakes. Not world-shattering stakes, but stakes that matter because the characters are compelling. It also has better action and good pacing. That movie also has heavy lighting issues, but at least the composition is competent. This isn't fun, it's boring, because I don't care about any of the characters, and even if I did, it's not presented in an engaging way. There's no substance to any of this, and it's not even enjoyable on a surface level. At the very least, I demand a movie better than Attack of the Clones and the Clone Wars movie. But no, instead we get this. Instead we get all of this, because the current state of the franchise is just more of this. Ahsoka Season 2 is this. Maul Shadow Lord is this. It's badly written, uncompelling, badly shot, badly directed, badly performed Clone Wars fan service. And the only other hope we have is a movie directed by Sean Levy. That sounds like it should be a joke. A tragically written, ironic joke. Congrats on making me completely apathetic to my favorite franchise. 3 out of 10.